Well, welcome to the 700 Club. Sacrificing civilians to gain international sympathy. And let me underline, sacrificing children to do this. Recent reports prove that it's a weapon Hamas is wielding to defeat Israel.
The terror group also appears to have rejected the U.S.-backed proposal to end the war and release the hostages. Chris Mitchell has the latest from Jerusalem.
There are reports Hamas rejected President Biden's proposal unless it includes a permanent end to the war in Gaza, guaranteeing its survival. While the U.S. says it's considering the Hamas response, Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu rejects any proposal that doesn't destroy Hamas's ability to fight and govern. A senior Israeli official Tuesday released a statement regarding the original proposal that said in part, Israel will not end the war before achieving all its war objectives. The proposal presented enables Israel to achieve these goals, and Israel will indeed do so. Recent reports on Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar revealed his aim to win victory by outlasting Israel through international pressure. Sinwar's recent communications, published in the Wall Street Journal, reveal how he uses his own people to advance those goals. Texts and other messages reveal he embraces civilian losses as necessary sacrifices and believes the death toll works to his advantage. In an earlier interview, he said, "We make the headlines only with blood. No blood, no news."
He knows exactly what are the sensitive points in the Western mindset, and he definitely works on these weak points.
Islamic expert Dr. Mordecai Kadar told CBN News that dead Palestinians are part of Sinwar's strategy. It's why Hamas fighters embed themselves among the civilian population and why hostages are held in civilian neighborhoods.
Anyone who looks dead, and actually is dead, and can be photoed, can be put on the social media, can be reported. These people, in the eyes of Sinwar, worth much more when they are dead compared to their value when they are alive.
Those images turned world opinion against the Jewish state. And as Sinwar puts it, we have the Israelis right where we want them. While the Biden administration continues to press for a ceasefire, it shares a similar opinion of Sinwar.
Mr. Sinwar cares nothing at all about the lives of innocent Palestinians that have been caught up in this war, a war he started. And it should surprise and shock no one that a beast like Mr. Sinwar would actually take glee in it and see advantage to it.
As the attention focuses on Gaza, Israel faces a renewed threat on its northern border. Hezbollah fired a barrage of more than 150 rockets on Wednesday, as far south as the Sea of Galilee in Tiberias. This after Israel eliminated the most senior Hezbollah commander killed in the war. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Truth has been turned upside down in this, and you look at the propaganda machine coming out of Hamas, and you just shake your head. Why in the world is anyone buying it? When you look back at the history here, and it's just since October, when they started saying, well, Israel has bombed a hospital and 500 people were killed, and this is according to the Gaza Ministry of Health, the entire story turned out to be false, but the world's press printed that thing, and it went around the world. And it turns out there was a rocket from Hamas. It wasn't anything having to do with the IDF at all. It exploded in the parking lot. It didn't hit the hospital. All of these things were the truth, but that lie went around the world. It's still happening today. And when you look at the current reports, that there should be world celebration that hostages were released. Instead, everyone wants to talk about the, quote, innocent civilians who died during the IDF raid to release the hostages. Why aren't we asking, why did Hamas take hostages in the first place? Why aren't we acknowledging that is a war crime in and of itself, regardless of anything else they've ever done? When you use civilians as human shields, again, that is a war crime. Why is Hamas getting away with this? When will we ever wake up that all of these things are lies? They're being very intentional in their social media posts. They're trying to push our buttons, and they're trying to trigger us into some kind of false sympathy for their cause. They are using humans, and they're sacrificing them for this larger ideology that Israel should be wiped off the map. Let's wake up to it and say, no, not on our watch. You don't get to do this. The entire world vowed after the Holocaust, never again. We're on the border, the threshold right now of yet another one with a group that has vowed to repeat October 7 again and again and again. Let's this generation say, no, not on our watch. You don't get away with this. You don't get to exist anymore, and we're not going to believe your lies. I'm not the only one that shares this. My co-host was in the middle of that piece, and she was reacting. What do you think of this current report?
Well, what I said as we were chatting was, why are we negotiating with a murderer? Why are we negotiating with terrorism? Isn't that U.S. policy that we do not negotiate with terrorists? And that's exactly what it seems like we're doing. And it's just, I just shake my head. I'm like, why is this happening? It's horrific. It's really horrific. The leaders of Hamas are murderers. They're terrorists, and we're negotiating with them. And I don't think we should be doing that. That's my rare opinion that happens.
That's not so rare.
It's rare when I give my opinion on these matters.
I appreciate it. And let's underline that. Why in the world are we negotiating with terrorists? It has been U.S. policy. We don't ever do that. And to not just negotiate with them, but, let's come alongside them and advance their agenda and say, okay, at the end of this, we're going to have a two-state solution. It's going to be on our terms, not on Israel's negotiated terms. We're going to reward the terrorist acts of October 7th. No, that shouldn't happen. We need to have absolute moral clarity on this. No, not on our watch.